Welcome to Martha Runs the World, a podcast with a new take on running, fitness, and all things health-oriented. I'm Martha Hughes, your host, and each week I present a new topic that is of interest to all runners. Welcome to episode 245 of Martha Runs the World. How are you today? I am doing great. It is Monday morning. I usually don't record this late, but I just got back from my trip to the Ride to Walk race this weekend, and I'm going to tell you all about my long weekend and what happened to me and the race. First off, I had a great weekend. It was lots of fun. Things did not go as I expected. Sometimes that happens, but I still had just a wonderful time. The Ride to Walk race is a great race. If they do plan to have it next year at this new location, I am going to do the 48 hours and try to do my first 100-miler. It just was so much fun. Well, I took Friday off work and got my rental car, and I got it at the San Francisco airport because the rental car companies 2 blocks from my house, 2 blocks, don't have a lot of cars anymore. And the last time I tried to rent a car from there, they didn't have any cars, or they had 1 car left, so I had to go pick it up 2 hours early. Yeah, that was fun. So I said, I don't want to do that anymore. So I had to drag all my stuff and go down to the San Francisco airport rental car on BART and pick it up. And that meant I couldn't bring my chair and a few other things that I wanted to bring, which was kind of a pain. I really wanted my chair. I missed my chair, but I didn't have it this time. And that kind of made a difference in everything, I believe. But anyway, so I went without it, and I went off to the airport, got my car. Boy, it was a crappy little car. It was a Ford Focus. Oh my God, what an awful, awful car. Well, it got me to the race and to the places I wanted to go and back, but it was not comfortable at all. And thank goodness for my very long trip in February, I did reserve a mid-size car, so it will be very comfy for my 9-hour drive back and forth. But, okay, I get my car, and I could not figure out Bluetooth. It wouldn't work. I've done it on most all my trips before, but this one, it would not work at all. So I didn't have my wonderful playlist. I couldn't play that. And I forgot to bring my Bluetooth speaker, which I usually bring with me. I didn't, and it's a little speaker, but it has a really nice sound, just in case the Bluetooth on the car doesn't work, or I just want to have music in my room, my hotel room. I have my little speaker, but I didn't bring it this time, so I had to listen to the radio. Anyway, so there's a Dunkin' Donuts right near the airport, so I stopped. Yes, I did. Got the coffee, which is okay, but I got an apple fritter, which was delightful. Oh my gosh, that was delicious. It was so light and fluffy and yummy. So that was really good. So I did that, but I had to stop. I had to go to San Francisco. I had to stop at the REI. They open at 10 on Fridays, and because my handheld water bottle had a hole in it. So I just found that out like Thursday night while I was packing. So I had to buy another one. So I got another water bottle, and I will do my blog that I do in the website, martharunstheworld.com. I'll do my review of the handheld water bottle. It's Nathan one. Again, I love Nathan products, but I'll talk about that in my written blog on Thursday. And I don't know if it's going to be good, but we'll see. Anyway, so I picked that up, and off I went. So the first thing I wanted to do was to go up to Folsom. I wanted to stop at Barnes & Noble Books. I like the bookstore up there in Folsom. I like that little shopping center. There's also a really cool restroom there that I always use when I go up to Ride. Well, always. I've only done it twice. So when I go up to Ride to Walk last year, I stopped at the Folsom, this shopping center, and they have a great restroom, and the parking's easy. So I went up there and I used the restroom because by that point it was like an hour and a half drive. So yes, I had to stop. So I stopped there, used the restroom. Then I went up to Barnes & Noble, bought a couple books, And by that point, it was lunch, so I stopped at Chick-fil-A, which I always do before a race if I'm out of town on my own. I always stop at Chick-fil-A because I really like the chicken sandwich. So I had that and an unsweetened tea. And then then I wanted to go to do a little hiking, but I didn't pick up any water, and I didn't realize there was no that all the water fountains at the Folsom Lake are all shut off. It's summertime. They're all shut off. There's lots and lots of water from the rains last year, but they're all shut off, so I couldn't do that. So I drove around a little bit. Folsom is really pretty. I really love the area. I'm not planning on staying in California in a couple of years, but if I did, this would be a really neat area to live. I love it up there. It's just so pretty and open, and the driving is easy. The roads are really nice. It's just a lovely part of California. It's one of my favorite areas in California. I really like it. But like I said, I drove around a little bit, and by that point it was 3, so I decided I'll stop at Trader Joe's, get my things that I need for the evening and the morning, and I'll just chill and just take it easy and just relax before my race tomorrow. So I get everything that I need, and I put the phone in the directions for my hotel room. And I get to the hotel, and the hotel is nice and clean, and it's safe, and that's really what I need, clean and safe. But it's not the greatest. It's threadbare. Okay, hotels are expensive now, so I couldn't get a real fancy one or a real pricey one, so I had to stay within my budget. So it wasn't dumpy. It wasn't a Motel 6, but it wasn't real fancy either. But it was okay. The coffee maker didn't work. But what I do though is I buy iced coffees. So because I need caffeine before I leave the room. I'm not one of those people who get dressed and get my day going and then get coffee. No, I need a coffee before I get dressed. I need caffeine. Must have caffeine before thinking. That's me. I know, I'm sad, but that is how I am. So I have my nice iced coffee, La Colombe, or something like that. I've forgotten what it's called, what the brand name is. But I have got a couple of those from Trader Joe's. So I have one for each morning. So Saturday I had one. And there's a couple things that were wrong with it. But all in all, it was okay. It was, like I said, it was clean. It was safe. So what else can you expect? So I chilled. Oh, they had a preseason hockey game on, so I watched that. So that was kind of fun. Hockey season is coming up. Yay, I'm excited. Anyway, I watched that, and I just chilled out for a while. Had a nice Trader Joe's salad for dinner. That was very tasty, very nice, and just relaxed. And then got some nice sleep. The bed was very comfortable, and I got as much sleep as I could. The alarm went off way too early in the morning, and the hotel provided free breakfast, but the breakfast was kind of crappy, so I'm glad I brought my own food. I had that, and the coffee downstairs was absolutely terrible, so I'm glad I had my iced coffee. And off I went to the race. Now, the one thing with this area is that everything is very spread out, so you drive a long ways to get from one place to the other. It would have been nice to have the Bluetooth working. That would have been great because my playlist rocked. But anyway, so I get to the location, and it's a really nice park. It's a great little park. It's called the Sunset Whitney Recreation Area in Rocklin. It's a really cool little park. It's a 1.1 mile loop. There is a little uphill and downhill, but it's pretty gradual. It's not steep or anything like that, but it isn't flat. Some people were telling me, oh yeah, it's totally flat, all dirt. No, not so much. I would say 70% dirt, 30% pavement, and there is uphill and downhill. One thing I did forget to bring is my gaiters, and I could kick myself for that because there's a few parts where you have to go over the dried grass, and get the foxtails in my socks, and that was not pleasant, and the rocks and everything like that. So that was not fun having to get the constant pebbles out of my shoes, but that's okay. I can handle that. But it was a fun day. It wasn't as warm as last year. Last year when I did Ride to Walk, it was like 100 degrees, but there was a lot more shade last year, and there was some grass, and I had my chair, and that was neat. No horses this year because I had to move it out of the area. This was more exposed. It was a longer loop, and I didn't have a chair to sit in. And I didn't have cover to be under that so much. So there was pluses and minuses, but it was a fun day. I listened to my playlist on my loop when I ran and walked. I did do quite a bit of running the first few loops, and then I walked the rest of it. I got about 14 and a half, maybe 15 unofficially miles, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I did meet some great people. I got to meet Pri. Hi, Pri. I got to say hi to Ray Sanchez. So, hi, Ray. And I got to say hi to the folks at Thunder Ultras. They're amazing. Hi, Greg. And they're just really, really cool people. I just really like them a lot. They're very nice. And if they do it again next year, I will be there again because it's just a fun race. I enjoy doing it a lot. I know it's hard putting on races, especially when you're up in the air and you have to move it at the last minute. I just hope they can do it again next year because I will be more prepared next year, and I'll have my tent and I'll have my chair, and I'll definitely be out there for 48 hours if they do it again next year. So that was really fun. I was disappointed at first, but after I did like 13 miles and I said, okay, I can do maybe one or two more. And I did. I say unofficially 15 because I had to go to my car once, and that I think gave me an unofficial half mile. But I did one more loop, and then my body kind of shut down and said, no, you're not doing any more, Martha. You just cannot do any more than you have. And I pushed myself as far as I can, and I couldn't do any more than that. I just know when my body says, nope, you're done. I mean, I could have tried pushing it farther, but it doesn't do anything any good. It really, if I was out like on the trail and had to go a couple more miles to get to the aid station, yeah, I could push myself. But that's not fun, and that doesn't do any good. You wind up hurting yourself that way, and it's just not a pleasant experience, and I'm not going to do that. I just know that I'm not trained enough to do any more than that. And let's face it, I have been running only since July. I got back into running in July, and so this is September. So July, August, September, 2 months. So I've done pretty well in 2 months. Some people are shocked that I'm back at running this soon. So, okay, I'm doing all right. So that was a really fun day. I think one of my favorite parts is when you get back to the hotel room and you take a shower and all that dirt just falls off you. That's great. But I went to Trader Joe's on my way home. I was going to go to In-N-Out, but I said, no, I'm not. I'll do In-N-Out tomorrow. So I usually go to In-N-Out after a big race. But I went to Trader Joe's instead, and I got some dinner because I really wanted ice cream. I don't know why. I wanted ice cream. So I got a pint of ice cream, and I got a chicken marsala with mashed potatoes and gravy. Yes, it was delicious. Because I have a microwave in the room. I had a whole refrigerator and a microwave in the room, which was kind of cool. That was okay. So I got that, and I microwaved the chicken marsala, and it was pretty good. And I had that, and then I ate a pint of ice cream. It was delicious. Cookie dough ice cream. Trader Joe's cookie dough ice cream. It was really good. And I took a shower first, of course, obviously. But the shower I love that. I miss that. Gosh, I miss that feeling of taking a shower and having all that dirt just go down the drain. Isn't that fun? Such a fun part of running. You just, not only have you accomplished something big, but you get to wash all that dirt away. It's just so fun. It felt so great. It felt really, really good. And so I had that. And funny thing is that sometimes after a big race, you don't sleep well. I slept like a baby. I went to sleep. I did not wake up at all. Not once did I wake up. I did have my alarm set for 6, and I woke up with the alarm at 6. So I got up and I had the other iced coffee, and I had a muffin for breakfast. I bought some muffins at Trader Joe's. I had a muffin for breakfast. I skipped the hotel breakfast because it's not very good. And I got everything packed up, and I think I left by about 8:30. I was ready to go. I decided that on the Sunday, I was going to go up to the train tunnels up by up by Sugar Bowl and Soda Springs up in the mountains. I wanted to see something really neat and different and cool. So I did that on Sunday. And it's really kind of neat. If you have not been up there, it's a really, really interesting place. Southern Pacific, when they built the railroad lines, they built these tunnels through the mountains. These are the original tunnels that were built, and they were mostly built by the Chinese immigrants who came over for work. And they were built in the 1800s, and they were built through the mountains. These are tunnels through the mountains. They're extremely sturdy, but they're not used anymore, so they're just sitting there. And most of them are covered in graffiti, and it's kind of like an artist thing. There's a lot of art. Some of it art is not great, but some of it's pretty cool. But they're really neat because people go up there and you walk through them. Now, the first one is almost a half mile long. It's really long. So I didn't realize how dark or long it was. So I only had my phone. I didn't bring a flashlight or my headlamp. I know, silly me. That was another thing I should have brought. So I'm wandering through this with my phone, and I didn't realize that if you do go up there, bring your flashlight or your headlamp, and stay on the right, because the right, there's a distinct path that you go through. Don't go through the middle like I did and get your feet all wet. Yeah, that's wrong. There's a distinct path that you go through. If you stay on the right, you will not get your feet wet. You won't step in the water because there's water in the middle. And it's kind of cold. It's very cold. So I'm glad I wore my jacket. I have my shorts on, and that day, it was actually very cold up there because you're about 6,000 feet. It was breezy and cold. It felt like a storm was coming through, like it was going to rain or something. So it probably was. They said might be rain up there this week. So it felt like storm was coming in. So that's kind of cool. They need the rain. And so you walk through, you get on the other side, and then you see this beautiful view of the mountains. You see this incredible view of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And it's amazing. It's a wonderful place. It really is cool. And there's more tunnels, and I went through a couple more tunnels. I didn't go all the way to the end. I think it's a mile and a half. I just didn't feel like going through the whole thing, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to do it. I wanted to get back and drop off the car, but I went through part of the other ones, and I do want to go back and spend more time there, so I'm not under a time restraint, but it was really, really neat to go through part of them. And you can make it a whole day. If you go through the tunnels, you can also hook it up to the Pacific Crest Trail and then go up to the part of the PCT and make it a whole day. You can go up and do, 5-10 miles, or make it part of a multi-day if you want. Do some fast packing if you want, or backpacking if you're into it. Whatever you want to do, you can make it a full day. It's pretty cool. But, so, I did part of it. I got, I think I only did a mile, maybe a mile and a half. It was really, really neat. And I just had never known about this until I saw some pictures of it online. I said, well, this is a really cool place. So I'm glad I stopped. I know where it is. I will go back to it. And it's a part of history that shouldn't be forgotten and should be looked at and explored, because it's right there. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. I mean, might as well go check it out. It's got a huge, there's a big parking lot for it. Don't park at the top and hike down. Look for a little turnoff. It's right before you get to Sugar Bowl. The Sugar Bowl is up the road, and just take a little right down onto, and the dirt road isn't very good, but my little piece of garbage. Ford made it, so if that little rental car can make it, your car can make it. So it's pretty cool. All right, so I did that, and then I said, okay, it's time to get back. But I always make a stop at the nut tree, just because I remember as a kid, I remember the nut tree. If you're Californian and as old as I am, you remember the nut tree was this tourist place, and they had their own airport, and they had restaurants and everything like that. And you always stopped at the nut tree because it was all nothing but orchards out there. And it wasn't like housing and shopping malls and factory outlets and everything. It was orchards, nothing but these trees and fruit trees and nut trees and everything. And you could buy all kinds of fruit in season and nuts and everything like that. And there used to be a restaurant out there and just giant farmers market. And I like to stop there just to reminisce about it. Plus, there's a couple stores I do like out there. I like to go to the Jelly Belly store there. Yes, I do. And I like licorice. Okay, licorice is a flavor, not a color. I know I'm one of those weirdos who likes black licorice. So if you don't, I don't care. I like it. So I got a bag of that, and I had to stop and use the restroom too. Yes, I know where the restrooms are in these shopping malls. So I stopped and got that, and I need to get gas as well. So I got that, and I made it back okay. I hated the car. It got me where I needed to go, and it was good on gas mileage, but my God, it was uncomfortable. My back was sore, and it's like, there's no way I could survive in that car longer than I did. So I think from now on, I'm going to reserve mid-sized cars or SUVs or something, even if it costs me more money, because it's just not comfortable. These little cars are just not comfortable. That seat was just crap. Oh my gosh. It was just not comfortable at all. I do not want to deal with that anymore. I mean, other than that, it was nice to be able to park in any parking spot I want and fill it up at $40. But goodness, my goodness, it was not that fun to drive. It was easy to drive, but it wasn't fun, and the Bluetooth didn't work, so I didn't like that much at all. Other than that, it was okay. It was just okay. And it was a fun trip. I think I would have done a couple things differently next time. I wouldn't have forgotten the gators, obviously. I would have brought a headlamp. But other than that, it was all right. Things are going to happen in a trip. You can't remember everything. You can't do everything. And I'm kind of limited where I live here. Now, today, things start. I have a big race coming up in February. That's not my A race next year. My A race will be next a year from now. But it's one of my big races, I would say. I'm still up in the air of if I'm going to do this 50K in December. I would like to. I'm going to see if I can do that or not. I'm going to give it a couple more weeks and see how my training goes, and we'll see. I have a half marathon in November. I'm going to do the Golden Gate Half, and I've got to start training for that on the roads. So, and this 50K in December is a road 50K, so I've got to train for that too. And oh gosh, things are coming up, and I've got to get serious about my training. I've got to get serious about my nutrition and everything. So that starts today. You will hear a lot about that. Oh, also too, I'm starting a new thing on Buzzsprout. You can become a subscriber to the show on Buzzsprout. For $3 a month, you will be a subscriber and can get extra content. I am going to create one episode a month for subscribers of Buzzsprout alone. For $3 a month, you will get one new episode a month. So I'm going to start doing that. That will be up either this week or next week. You'll get one new episode a month, and you'll get extra content for $3 a month, and you'll really be helping out the show. That means a lot to me if you would do that. And I will put a link to the subscribers at marthatrunstheworld.com. You'll see that on the show, and everything for the show, for the race, Ride to Walk race, will be up there. Everything will be there at marthatrunstheworld.com. And like I said, you'll hear a lot about my training, a lot about what's going on in my future races, all that fun stuff in the future weeks to come. I have a lot of really cool shows coming up, so stick with me, stick with the show. It's going to be a really, really fun fall, fun winter, and lots of running involved, lots of training. So it's going to be great. So I hope your runs, I hope your training is going well. Let me know what's going on at martharunstheworld@gmail.com. And thank you so much for being a listener. It means everything to me. It really, really does. And with that, let's tie up our shoelaces and go for a run.